I bought this 5-string acoustic bass a couple days ago. It's a Godin A5 from the year 2000. As you can see the headstock, which came with this nice tobacco starburst finish. I've never been satisfied with sampling virtual instruments in my music, and I've been looking to purchase a bass for a while, but the real impetus for this is that I started incorporating 5-string bass parts into my songwriting for the upcoming album, and it became much more challenging for me to write those bass lines on a 6-string guitar. So at that point, it's pretty much necessary for me to own a 5-string bass so that I can continue writing music and then eventually record it as well. Initially, I didn't consider acoustic as an option until I went into a Guitar Center. I was actually reminded that these existed, and I was able to get a pretty good deal on this from a local pawn shop through eBay. Yesterday, I slapped on some brand new strings, and this thing actually plays really well. Of course, the one thing everybody wants to know is how the B string sounds, and it's pretty good. So for comparison, we have this E and the B. You can hear the notes slightly better when it's thumb picked, so. So right now I'm still working on various techniques to try and get the best sound out of this, but so far things are going pretty well. I've had this for 4 days, and I think I've been getting the hang of it pretty quickly. I was initially afraid that I was going to have a lot of trouble treating this instrument like it's a guitar, but actually that hasn't been the case. Fortunately, because this is a 5-string, whether I start from the top string or from the bottom string, there's no anchor that's analogous to a 6-string guitar, and all the shapes and boxes that I'm used to no longer apply to this instrument, which is great, because I'm hoping this will give me an opportunity to get rid of all the bad habits that I've developed on the guitar, and I can learn this instrument from scratch the right way, as opposed to how I learned guitar playing, which was through strict memorization. As I've always said, I stand by the opinion that memorizing scales is worthless. It's a waste of time. If you start with the ABCs, learn your intervals, and know your entire fretboard without constraining yourself to any predefined paths, that's a better way to know your instrument, and you'll be a better musician as well as a better songwriter. Anyway, as far as playing this instrument goes, I've always believed that bass should be played with the fingers, never with a pick. And for a long time I actually practiced on my guitar, so even though I'm technically a brand new bass player, I actually think I have a pretty decent technique, especially with things like 2-finger gallops, which I've been practicing a lot since I got this. Of course, there are some things that are too fast for me to play right now, so I am working on speed, but my goal is really to never touch this instrument with a pick and to just work on it with my fingers. So for some really quick stuff, I'm trying out a 3-finger technique, like for example this bass line. I don't know why that second part is so much harder than the gallop itself. For songwriting, having this bass has made a huge difference in getting through some of the writer's block that I was dealing with over the past month or so. This is probably the most fun I've had in a while, and I've gotten a huge boost in creativity over just the past 2 days. From here, I can see myself making a lot of progress, and I'm actually thinking I should be done with songwriting probably by the end of August, and I'll be ready to start recording soon after that. So a rough estimate for the next album, which is going to be a black metal concept album for Apathy, probably somewhere in the middle of October, which is more like September given how I usually work. So right now I'm undecided on how I want to record this instrument. I'm hoping to do it purely acoustic, which is kind of a crazy idea for black metal, where you don't normally hear bass most of the time anyway. But I've always had a lot of exceptions to the way I do things, so depending on what kind of sound I can get, I might end up tracking it twice, once acoustic, the other through a clean channel on my amp, which does a pretty decent job, but hopefully I can just do things purely acoustic. That's really going to be decided when the time comes. Right now I'm just having too much fun playing this.